Sup, ballers? Today we're going to be doing something special. Now, a good friend of mine from high school, Clyde Bunson, has provided me with some beer from Texas that I can't get anywhere near here. So we're going to be drinking some beer from Real Ale Brewing Company. And because he went at great expense to get these to me, he gets to pick which one of these beers we drink first. And believe me, there's a bunch of them. So we're going to go with what I believe is their most famous one, Firemans Four. And when I discussed this beer with my community, they immediately pointed to this beer as being the only one out of the sampler packs and the thumbnails that they recognized. So let's go ahead and crack this one open, shall we? This is advertised as a blonde ale with 5.1% alcohol content, so I mean, I'm excited about this. This was literally my first beer that I ever drank, so I'm hoping that this is just as good as I remember. Let's just get right into this. Man, this is so good. It's not too heavy, and I think that's part of it being the blonde ale aspect of this. It really honestly reminds me of the Genesee Cream Ale just a little bit, but not in the cheap way. There's a little bit of bitterness at the end, which if you're into that kind of thing, then this is gonna hit that spot right for you. All in all, Firemans Four is really, really good. I am looking forward to drinking the rest of this, honestly. Now, for those of you who don't know, Firemans Four is made by Real Brewing Company, which I guess you could have probably figured out by the thumbnail, right? But these are made in Blanco, Texas, which is in the hill country of Texas, obviously. And that's where I grew up. This was literally the first beer I ever drank. So I have to keep the nostalgia factor in mind whenever I give this a rating, because although I am very excited about getting to drink this, I have to be somewhat objective as far as my opinion on how good this is. And it's a good beer, but it's not the best beer. So that in mind, Firemans 4, I am giving you a 7 out of 10 because I think that you are a terrific beer, but I don't think you were in the top echelon of beers. I think that with some minor tweaking and maybe getting rid of that bitter note at the end, just for my personal taste, I could give you a 9 or a 10. But man, this was really, really nice to go back to, just to see if this was as good as I remember as a kid. I mean, as a legally aged adult drinking beverages. Alright, well, we're already one beer down. And we've got Devil's Backbone, which if you're not familiar, the Devil's Backbone is basically a canyon of sorts that's right outside of Blanco, which is where they got the name. You can even see on the can, they even reference the city of Blanco on the can. This one has 8.1% alcohol content, so this one is listed as a Belgian style triple. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Let's dig in. This one is a little sweet compared to the Firemans Four. I'm sure this is just because of the style of beer, but it's not for me. With the 8.1% alcohol content, I would have expected to be able to pick up a little bit more of the alcohol in here, but not so much. I'm really just picking up the sweet. Still getting that bitter note at the end, but not nearly as much as I was on the Firemans Four. Because again, the sweet notes are just overwhelming everything here. I'm honestly not really a big fan of this, and I'm thinking it's just because the type of beer that this is not suitable for my palate. But objectively, it's not a bad beer, it's just not for me. So Devil's Backbone, I don't think I'm going to finish you on this one, but I am going to give you a 5 out of 10 because I think that you're an okay beer. I think this is just a matter of difference of opinion on what constitutes a good beer. I don't think this is a beer for me. And next up was the beer that when I saw I really wanted to try, and we've got Swifty.
You gotta get Swifty.
No, not Swifty, Swifty. I'm not entirely sure how long this has been out, but I like the simplistic design of the can. It's just your standard baby blue can, the simple little circle logo there. This one has 5.2% alcohol by volume, and it's even just got a simple little slogan here. There's always time for a Swifty. I love the can. I'm hoping that I love the beer. And this one is listed as an American Pale Ale, so I do enjoy a good pale ale from time to time. Let's just get right into this. Oh, and this one does not disappoint. No, sir. It's sour, but not terribly sour. It's got that standard pale ale taste to it. You don't have that bitter note at the end that I was discussing with the Firemans Four that I've come to expect out of their ales. Overall, I really like this. This is a very simple beer, and I think that's what they may have been going for. There's always time for a Swifty, right? I think this is just their standard, just cheap beer. I don't know for sure. I could be talking out of my ass, but if I saw these at a grocery store in a 6-pack and they were along the lines of like Coors Light, I'd be grabbing these. Swifty American Pale Ale from Real Ale Brewing Company. I am definitely going to be giving you an 8 out of 10 on this one, because I think that for what you are probably advertising yourself as, you've hit the nail on the head here. I like this a lot. I'm going to keep drinking this. Alright, I'm about 2.5 beers into this already, because I didn't finish the Devil's Backbone one, but I did finish the other two. But now we've got Fresh Kicks. And this is one that I actually tried yesterday whenever I was drinking with friends, so I kind of already have an opinion about this. This one is 6.6% alcohol by volume. Now, I will say that whenever I drank this last night, I was already drunk. So now that I am just slightly buzzed, I'm going to give this a shot. It tastes just like a normal hazy IPA. I don't see anything tremendously good about this beer, nor do I see anything that I would necessarily hate about this beer. It is a little sour, and for a hazy IPA, I'm wondering maybe a little too sour, maybe not for me, and given that they have, shoes on the logo, I'm wondering if maybe they just dunk some tennis shoes into the beer for flavor. That being said, it's not completely objectionable. It's just not the beer for me, so I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10, because this is just a perfectly average beer that I would not say no to if offered for free, which it was, because this was given me by Clyde Bunson, that beautiful fucking human being. Alright, next up we've got Moonwalk Zero Gravity IPA, and I have no earthly clue what the fuck Zero Gravity IPA is supposed to mean. All I know is I'm starting to feel the effects of 3.5 beers. I'm a little bit of a lightweight. Honestly, this tastes exactly like the Fresh Kicks, except just a tiny bit less sour. There's nothing remarkable about this. In fact, I'm pretty sure they probably use almost the exact same recipe. Maybe the higher alcohol content made the Fresh Kicks slightly more acidic and sour, versus the Moonwalk is slightly lower in alcohol content at 6%, and therefore isn't as sour, but the taste itself is basically exactly the same. And so if I had to choose between Fresh Kicks and Moonwalk Zero Gravity IPA, I would have to grab the Moonwalk because this is just slightly less sour. So that being said, Moonwalk Zero Gravity IPA, you're getting a 6 out of 10 because you're slightly better than the Fresh Kicks. Alright, up next is the Layman's beer at 4.5% alcohol content, Crispy Business. And I just want to take a moment to point out that this looks like a terrible stream overlay that they used for their can. I think I might have actually used the exact same one on my stream. Link in the description. Anyway, this is their lager. This is the first lager we come across. Let's do this. I'm a big fan of lagers. I'm starting to get a little sleepy here. This is awful. This is honestly the first beer I've had of theirs so far that has just been terrible. Crispy Business. I took one drink. No thank you. You're getting a 0 out of 10. We're passing on you. Alright, next up after that disappointing fucking beer that I'm not touching ever again is Boombox, which is a double IPA. I'm very excited to try this one. This one was one that was recommended to me by Clyde Bunson, I think. I don't know. I'm a little buzzed. I don't remember which ones he recommended to me at this point. Well, let's dig into this one. You start getting into these beers, and they start all kind of tasting the same. It's really hard to explain, but eventually, especially with the IPAs, they all have the very same taste. Like, I realized with the sampler pack that I got sent with the IPAs, they probably all have the same basis for how they're made. But, like, this one is 8.1% by volume, and I'm pretty sure that's the only distinguishable difference between this and the Moonwalk is perhaps the alcohol content. So that being said, Boombox Double IPA, you're going to get a 6 out of 10 while I get drunk. I have to pee. Oh. Last one. Axis IPA, 7.1% alcohol by volume. It tastes just like every other IPA I've drank. Every other fucking IPA. 5 out of 10. I'm pretty fucking toasted now. I wish I had enough comprehension skills to go on, but be sure that you do the liking and the commenting and the subscribe, okay? Can you do all that for me? I'm gonna go take a nap, okay? I'm gonna go do that.